Did you know you can pick up a fake iPhone for just $150? Whenever Apple releases a new phone, a fake phone normally follows quite quickly. Sounds good, right? Well, let's find out. Hey guys, it's Jack from TechFusions here. I hope you are all well and safe. Today in this video we're going to be comparing the original iPhone 11 Pro Max to a replica version of the same phone. Before we get into this video, I want to know, what phones are you guys using at the moment? Has anyone used a fake iPhone before? If you have, let us know in the comments down below. If you haven't seen our unboxing video yet, go and check that out in the description, or it'll be somewhere just above here, and then come back to this video to see what you think. So I first got an iPhone in 2008 with the original iPhone 3G. Since using an iPhone, I have used many replica products for the purposes of reviews. In this time, it's so interesting to see how these replica phones have developed and how much better they have got. Taking a first glance at this iPhone, it's actually quite hard to tell the difference. But when you really get into it, you can see there are some clear differences between the replica and the real iPhone 11 Pro Max. So firstly, when looking at these two devices head on, you may notice the colours do look slightly different. On the fake iPhone 11 Pro Max, it's actually a little bit more brighter and shiny, which is quite interesting when you look at the difference compared to the original iPhone. Sounds like a small detail, but actually it is really good to know when you're comparing these two devices side by side. Another quick detail for you is the Apple logo on the original iPhone 11 Pro Max looks just that little bit more clearer and crisper. And again, looking at both of them, you wouldn't necessarily tell the difference, but it is important to know if you are doing a direct correct comparison. For me, holding the real iPhone 11 Pro Max just feels that little bit nicer. Just by looking at the camera, they look fairly similar, but again, when you go into that detail, you can see there are some clear differences between them. The Apple lenses on the real iPhone are slightly darker, which is a more obvious giveaway. However, I may feel that you wouldn't notice this unless you are comparing the phone side by side. In terms of the design, they actually did a really good job, and I think it'd be quite hard to tell the difference just by taking a quick glance at this phone. If I was looking at it and didn't know, would I know it's a fake iPhone from the design? Probably not. When you turn the phone on, it looks fairly similar to the original iPhone. However, quite quickly after getting it on, then it becomes obvious that it's not the real phone, and you can tell which one is real and which one is fake. One of the first obvious differences is the brightness levels. When you turn on the original iPhone, it is very clearly bright, which is great, and it's so good when using it outside. When using the fake iPhone, it's just not very bright, and particularly if you're using it in a time when it's really sunny out, it's just that little bit more harder to see, and we actually found it quite difficult when filming outside to get the screen on camera, which was because the screen is just not bright enough. Another thing I noticed almost straight away is that the fake iPhone 11 Pro Max does not have the raise to wake feature. This is actually one of my favourite features on the iPhone, and what it does is if you pick up your device, it will show the home screen straight away. Again, a small detail, but for me that's such a nice feature, and I'm just quite gutted that we do not have it on this replica device right here. Now, if you're wondering how this fake iPhone can be just as good as the real iPhone for $150, then this is where I think you should may spend the extra money to buy the real phone. The camera on the fake iPhone 11 Pro Max is terrible. And when I mean terrible, I mean terrible. It is one of the worst cameras I've ever seen on a phone in 2020. And especially when you compare it to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it is so different. One thing I would say though is that this phone does not have the ultra wide lens, which again does kind of show why it won't be as good. And again, I would not expect this phone to be as good, but I didn't expect the camera to be as bad as what it was. Even if you pick up something like an iPhone 5 or an iPhone SE, I would still say the camera quality is probably better, even though the phone is so much older. Take a look at these photos and you can see the difference almost straight away. Can you tell which one was on the replica iPhone and the real iPhone? Let us know. The same experience has to be said for video recording. Video recording on this phone is not a nice experience whatsoever. Sal and I actually attempted to do a recording of us sounding like this with the phone, and every time the app just crashed. Every time. This just made it become a really frustrating experience, and the camera application on this phone just is not good at all. When you compare it to the original, the real iPhone, there is such a big difference, and for me, this is just frustrating. Even if it's $150, even if it's cheaper, I would not want to use a phone which crashes all the time and the camera doesn't work properly, and quite frankly, the image quality is just not great at all. Even if this replica iPhone does try and mimic the software on iOS, it's just not a nice experience to use at all. It's glitchy, it crashes. There's some of the features just aren't quite the same, and it just doesn't feel as nice and as smooth as what you would do if you were using an original iPhone. This iPhone actually uses an Android software that almost mimics the iPhone. The software was glitchy, and again, I was kind of expecting that because most replica phones I've used, the software has been very similar, very glitchy and just not easy to use. But again, I did expect more for a phone, and especially this fake phone is the top of the range fake phone. So again, you would just expect that a little bit more from it. This fake iPhone actually has an app that almost mimics the App Store. Sounds great, right? Well, not quite. If I try and download an app on this phone, every single time I tried, it failed almost straight away. This again was really frustrating, and it makes you think, what is the point of having it on the phone in the first place? Now, this phone does have access to Google Play, which is good because at least you can download apps. But why are you wasting time and just memory on your phone for an app store that doesn't work in the first place? Now, I know on some previous replica phones I've used, you have the app icon and it goes straight to the Google Play Store. I would actually say this is something that probably should have been the case in this phone because it just doesn't make sense, and maybe it's worked for some people, and if anyone else has used this, let us know. But for us, every single time I try to download an app on the App Store, it's just failed every single time and I can't download anything. With that said, the apps you can download on Google Play do work fine and they run generally quite smoothly. I've downloaded a few different games and they work okay. I mean, not amazing, but it works, and that is the most important thing. But again, of course, it is different to the original iPhone, but that is to be expected if you are buying a fake phone. The phone also comes with some earbuds that look identical to the same ones you will find on the Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max. Even though they sound similar, I have to say the sound sounds nothing like the original iPhone, and again, this is something that is to be expected for a replica product. I think the people who've made this product really have took the time and effort to make sure the design looks very similar. However, I wouldn't quite say that in terms of the software, and I feel like the software really lets this device down. But I guess at the same time, what do you expect for a phone that is only $150 and replicates a real iPhone? Of course, the real iPhone retails over $1,000, so of course it's going to be different and it's not going to be anywhere near as good as the real device. One of the questions you may be asking is, should I buy a replica phone, or in this case, this replica iPhone 11 Pro Max? In this case, I would have to say no. If you're going to buy an iPhone, I would say go out and buy the real one. If you don't want to spend that money, I would say look on eBay or Gumtree and find a used iPhone. You can pick up even old iPhone 5s for £40. So If you don't want to spend that much money, you can still buy older ones or even the iPhone SE, which has recently come out. Talking about older iPhones, if you haven't already, check out Sam's video on the iPhone SE. In this video, Sam looks at using the iPhone SE in 2020 and he compares it to what it was like then and what it was like now. So if you haven't already, check that video out. If you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you can stay updated about what videos we are going to be releasing soon. We're also doing a brand new live stream called TechFusions every Thursday at 9 o'clock UK time. In our live streams, we're going to be talking about retro tech and retro games, and it'd be great for you guys just to come and say hi. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon in our next video. This is Jack from TechFusions. See you in the next one.